And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to talk about some of the recent signings and trades that have happened. Again, nothing super groundbreaking, anything like that, but, just wanted to get into that because, we're still waiting on some of the bigger, free agents to sign, post Yamamoto and Ohtani, and obviously Soto being traded. But so the Yankees did make a trade. They actually traded former top prospect Estevan Florial to the Guardians, and they acquired a right-hander Cody Morris. So Florial signed with the Yankees in 2015 and was rated their top prospect in 2019 by MLB.com before dropping to 6th in 2020, 10th in 2021, and 30th in 2022. And listen, he never really got like a fair shot, I guess. But that's on one hand. The other hand is when he did get his shot, he didn't hit. He really didn't hit. And, one of the big criticisms with the Yankees is that they have held on to their prospects for way too long. And he was one of them. So he goes to the Guardians. They get Cody Morris, who made his big league debut in September of 2022 and had a 6.75 ERA in 6 appearances with the Guardians in 2023, striking out 9, walking 6 in 8 innings. He averaged 95.2 miles per hour with his fastball. Now, Morris was 2-1 with a 3.23 ERA in 4 starts and 17 relief appearances for AAA Columbus and AA Akron this year, striking out 56 and walking 27 in 39 innings. Now, I think, you look at the 6.75 ERA and you're like, oh, God, this is not good for the Yankees. But, what the Yankees have been able to do is they take these no-name relievers that you never heard of and they turn them into studs. Now, is that going to happen with Cody Morris? I don't know. We'll see. But, this is a trade that they made because, they traded away a lot of their pitching depth. And they need more because, obviously, they traded a big chunk of it to the Padres to get Soto. And, the fact that they were able to get anything out of Florial, you'll take that. So, we'll see. I mean, the Yankees, they have, one of the better pitching coaches in the league in Matt Blake. So, hopefully he's able to turn Morris into a guy that could be, a good bullpen guy. Because right now, that's what the Yankees are looking for. And they still got to figure out what they're going to do with their rotation. So, so that was one of the trades that happened. Also, we'll talk about another trade. So Mitch Garver, who obviously played with the Rangers, was a part of the World Series team. He signed with the Mariners on a 2-year deal. So, Mariners, they really haven't done much here in the offseason, and you're kind of hoping that maybe they would because, this is a team that, that missed out on the playoffs by a few games last year. Well, this year, still technically. So you're hoping that, they could, turn it around and, get back to the team that made it in 2022. So, Mitch Garver, 2-year contract with a mutual option running through the 2026 season. So, in 2023, he hit 19 home runs in just 87 games with a 270 batting average and a 370 on base percentage. So again, he provides some pop. He's going to be used primarily as a, as a DH, and he's going to be, the backup catcher. But at least the Mariners did something. But you would I think as a Mariners fan, you're kind of hoping that, that maybe they bring in somebody else. Because there are still some names out there, of course, but they did sign a bat. Also, the Blue Jays, they made a couple of moves, so they brought back Kevin Kiermaier, and they signed Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to a 2-year deal, I believe. Kiermaier they brought back on a 1-year deal. Listen, they really haven't done anything flashy, the Blue Jays. Again, because, listen, they missed out on Ohtani. You thought that Ohtani was going was flying there because, they were saying, oh, it looks like he's heading to Toronto. And it turns out that wasn't even the case. Again, that's just people, trying to be the first one to report something as opposed to, waiting, and getting, the full story. But that wasn't the case. Ohtani was at home, and then he ultimately signed with the Dodgers. So then the Blue Jays, they bring back Kiermaier, and they sign IKF. And I know for my sister, for some reason, she was a huge IKF fan just because of his name. Like, if he had, a name like John Smith, like, she probably wouldn't even care, honestly. But because his name was Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, that just for some reason, was a big deal. So Kiermaier in 2023, he had a 3.9 WAR, 98 hits, and 370 at bats, 8 home runs, a 265 batting average. I mean, he was okay for the Blue Jays last year. Still has a good glove out there in the outfield. And then IKF stats for the Yankees last year, if we could pull those up. So 79 hits and 326 at bats, 6 home runs, a 242 batting average. Yeah, I mean, he was kind of used as he really was their utility guy last year. He played the outfield. That's just how bad of a season the Yankees had last year, for their standards, where you have IKF, who was supposed to be your starting shortstop. He ends up being your center fielder at certain points, because you had Harrison Bader getting hurt, and not even that, they just didn't have any outfielders. Now they have a surplus of outfielders, which is great. Yeah, I mean, for the Blue Jays, I mean, you get a utility guy, but I mean, these moves don't really move the needle. The Blue Jays are kind of like still in the same spot. So I don't know what they're gonna do. But you know what? The team is talented, and they have a really good rotation. But they need an offense that they need some kind of spark in their offense. But you would think, like, with the players that they already have, like Bo Bichette, George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you would think with these guys that they don't need that, but they kind of do, because they had a disappointing end to their season as well. So, and I don't think, they brought back Kiermaier, who they already had, and now you're bringing in Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's going to be a utility guy. I mean, these moves don't move the needle for the Blue Jays. They're kind of still in the same spot. Although they're still going to be a good team this year, but they got to figure something out. So another move. So Martin Maldonado, he signed a 1-year deal with the White Sox. 69 hits and 362 at bats, 15 home runs, 191 batting average. I mean, a good defensive catcher. He's not known for like his bat. A guy that's been with the Astros. Won a couple championships with them. I believe he was on both the 2020 the 2022 team and the 2020 the 2017 team. Right, he was on both of them. If I can, now Safari screwed me up now. So yeah, let's actually go back to his stats. But yeah, so the White Sox again, good defensive catcher, but that's really it. Actually, he was on the. No, he wasn't. He was actually on the Angels. Never mind, my mistake. He was on the 2018 team, but that team went to the championship game, or the championship series. Sorry. Yeah, so he was with them in 2018. Got bounced around a little bit. Came back in 2019. So he was on the teams that got to the World Series, but he was on the team that won it in 2022. So, but yeah, that's another move that was made as well. I think that's it, unless I'm missing another one that happened recently. Because other than that, it's really just been like rumors. Yeah, so Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Kiermaier, we talked about Maldonado, Mitch Garver. Oh, yeah, also, I did talk about it, but the specifics of the deal. So the Padres did sign Japanese relief pitcher Yuki Matsui to a 5-year contract. So, yeah, 39 saves with a 1.57 ERA. Last season as the closer for the Rakuten Golden Eagles. So that's the replacement for Josh Hader. So we'll see how it translates to the majors. But at least for the Padres, they found their replacement as Josh Hader continues to be a free agent. We'll see where he ends up because we'll talk about him in a little bit. So yeah, but I think that's pretty much it with the signings and trades. I don't think anything else has occurred. In the next part of the show, we'll just talk about like the rumors and what who could potentially go where, because again, there's still some free agents out there, and we'll see what happens, and whenever it does, we'll make sure to talk about it. So but yeah, nothing groundbreaking since the Yamamoto signing. But yeah, I mean, there's, you still got Snell out there, Hader, Jordan Montgomery, Bellinger, but now with, like I've been saying, with Soto, Ohtani, Yamamoto, they're all, on their new teams. Well, they're on the Yankees and the Dodgers now. Not really all their new teams, but we're kind of just waiting where everybody else is going. But those are like the big players that have moved. So now we're waiting on the other players to move, and yeah, I mean, we are we're gonna be in the new year, and once football season's over, that's when we start talking about spring training and getting ready for 2024. So the 2024 season. So before we go into our next break of the show, I just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment down below. So, when we come back from our second break of the show, I will talk about some recent off-season rumors, things like that. Guys that could be traded, guys that could be staying put. Where free agents like Snell, Bellinger, Hader, where those guys could potentially end up. And that is what we will discuss when we return from our second break of the show. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.